Audience segmentation is a huge deal, and it's very, very important because here's what happens with audience segmentation. We teach all the time, you should niche, you should go down and go after the certain people who are the perfect people to buy your product. But here's what happens. Even within that one niche that's really, really tight, there are different groups of people that should be talked to differently. And when you do, you get increased engagement, you get increased buy-in, you get all kinds of advantages from that. There are huge advantages in segmenting your content so that you can deliver better content to the segments of your audience. So let's talk about this concept of content segmentation. So not audience segment, the content that you deliver to the people who you've segmented. So basically what you're doing here is you're dividing your content into groups that better cater to the different audience segments in your world. By segmenting your content, you can give people content that they really want to increase your engagement and conversion. Done right, it strengthens your connection with your audience, and it makes them want to buy more from you because you're speaking their language. You're talking directly to them, not to others. Done wrong, it can waste your resources, spending time and money giving them content that doesn't really apply to them, and it can actively drive them away and could result in other issues like potentially lawsuits and negative social media comments and all those kinds of things like that. Let me just give you 3 quick examples of segmentation, content segmentation done wrong. For some reason, there is a company that sells cat products that's decided I'm a cat owner. I don't own a cat. Yet every month or so, I get direct mail that costs them a lot of money. It's probably cost them $3 to $5 to send this to me. Every single month, they send me this thing about cat stuff. It's like, how did you decide I own a cat? Here's another one. My neighborhood, I live in a nice neighborhood, and I'm sure that there are people in my neighborhood who are cigar smokers. I'm not. But somebody mails to everybody in my neighborhood a cigar catalog about 4 times a year. Not only am I not going to buy your cigars, and so it's a total waste of your resources, but if I ever decided to smoke cigars, I wouldn't go to them because they've been rather stupid in this process. Here's another one, political donations. So I don't talk politics. I tend to vote for the right person, for the person who I believe will do the best in the interest of the nation or the community, whatever, which means I don't always vote down a single party line. So what ends up happening is both parties in America have decided that I'm one of their big people. And so I regularly get mail that comes, a personal letter from so-and-so, and it's like, because you're one of our greatest supporter, we want you to give us $2,500 to come to our dinner and sit down with all the leaders of X party and talk. And it's like, you know what? You've decided that I like your candidate. I don't like your candidate. Stop sending me this stuff and stop writing these things in a way, content that assumes I am that person. Because I'm not. And I'll tell you, there have been more than one time where I was actually thinking of voting for somebody and decided not to because they kept assuming that I was one of their biggest fans and wanted to come to $5,000 plate dinners. Okay, so let's talk about how to segment. The first piece is to identify your different audience, the different groups of people who buy products like yours. Now, I realize I'm not talking about niching. I don't know why. Okay. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is within your niche, there are people who are different and have different needs. Let me give you an example of this because ChatGPT and other AI tools can help. So here I have put in a ChatGPT prompt. That's what they're called. I'm thinking of selling products in the meditation space. Give me a list of the different audience segments within the meditation market and describe the interests and needs of each. Now, if I was doing this, I later on went and tell me about the demographics of each. I'll show you that in just a moment. Okay. So sure, the meditation market consists of various things. So beginners, individuals who are new to meditation looking to explore its benefit. They're interested in simple techniques, guided meditation resources. Their needs often revolve around learning the basics, finding motivation, and achieving a sense of calm and relaxation. Totally makes sense, right? Okay, advanced practitioners, experienced meditators, had deep understanding. They're interested in more advanced practice, specialized courses, and products that enhance their meditation experience. So both of these are within my target audience of people who meditate, but actually, it's not really a niche. People who meditate are not a niche. They're all over the place. Okay, so now it's going to give me some of those mindfulness enthusiasts. So focuses on individuals who are specifically interested in mindfulness meditation. They seek products and resources that promote present moment awareness, stress reduction, and emotional well-being. Their needs often revolve around developing mindfulness skills, incorporation meditation in daily life, and cultivating a greater sense of clarity and focus. This is really good. I mean, this is okay. Next is stress release seekers, stress reduction, improving well-being. Their needs finding effective tools for stress management, learning coping mechanisms, and achieving mental and emotional balance. Then health and wellness, then spiritual seekers, then workplace and corporate settings. So as you look at this, what you see is, okay, even within the niche of people who are meditators, I could write content that is devoted to mindfulness. I could write different content that's devoted to stress relief seekers. I could create different content that is devoted to health and wellness enthusiasts. Each one of those will attract a group of people who are very interested in meditation for those separate purposes. Are you seeing what I mean? By doing different content strategies, you attract people who are interested. So let's go to weight loss. Okay. People who are interested in exercise, people who are interested in health benefits, people who are interested in dieting, people who are interested in taking pills for it. There's all kinds of different sub-niches within the niche of people who want to lose weight. And so when you look at this, you start going deeper, asking ChatGPT to describe each of the segments that you buy into, because I don't necessarily agree with everything that comes out of ChatGPT, but let's say I buy into that there are 3 separate niches, sub-segments within it. All right, now I may ask it to go into more detail on those niches and tell me more about the demographics, the psychographics, the way they think and the needs that they have, and specific user behavior. What are they buying? What are they reading? What magazines are they signing up for? What websites are they visiting? Those kinds of things. All right. So that's a way to use AI to start to give you answers about the specific sub-segment needs. Okay, so that's the first thing, is use that to start identifying. But then we actually have a second piece, which is this. If you've been already developing and building a list, you very likely have already attracted different user segments into your email list. So here's what happens. If you have done multiple lead magnets, now you sit back and you go into that and you realize, meditation space, I did something on stress release. I did another thing on mindfulness, and I did another thing on the health benefits of it. That's 3 different segments of people who are interested in different aspects of the meditation in that process. I've developed 3 separate sub-niches without even realizing it. And so I encourage you to look deeply into your lead magnets, your ads, and your existing content, and identifying the different segments that are in that. Then once you've got them, decide which segment or segments you wish to pursue, and then segment your existing email list to identify who is in each segment, so that you're not mailing someone who is interested in X information about Y. You want to only send things to people who are interested in X that have to do with X, so that you're constantly right on with them, so that they're saying, this person gets me. I want to hang out with this person because they get me. And so I want to buy products from this person because they get me. As soon as I send them something for Y, I just violated that trust. They now believe I don't get them. How can I send them something about cats? I don't even own a cat. So you got to be consistent once you start going down this. One way to do this is to create email filters. Let's try that again. Create email filters based on tags that enable you to reach each segment individually. Then what you're going to do is you're going to create content to attract each segment. You're going to create some videos. You're going to create some blog posts. You're going to create some emails. You're going to then take your site and start dividing your site by segment. You'll see this all the time in the B2B and the SaaS space. So when you go to a site, it'll say, are you a blank or a blank? When you click on one of those, you get taken to the section of the site that talks to that particular group. And everything in that particular segment is content that is sub-segmented to that group of people. And then as you do this, you develop lead magnets for each of those segments, so that you're continuing to build more people with lead magnets that specifically attract them and talk about their needs, so that then your emails from then on out are about that need and help that person to get the content and the things they're interested in. Also, social media segmentation plays a part in this. Many people actually create different accounts to attract different groups. Go pay careful attention. You'll start seeing this from some of the best social media people out there. You see it all the time on YouTube, but you'll also start seeing it on things like Instagram and TikTok and things like that. Now, the only way to make this thing work is to create a content calendar where you properly serve each segment, building towards offers made to a given segment. So if I know on August 10th, I'm going to release content to this particular segment, I need to step back. So July 20th, I start mailing things about that thing at a slightly heavier schedule to that segment, so that they are ready to buy when I'm ready to sell them that stuff. Now, you're not sending all those emails to the people that are not in that segment. You're only sending it to the group that's in that segment. Now, of course, if you want to make this thing work, you got to measure and optimize each segment. You may abandon some segments over time. You may say, this isn't worth it. I'm not getting anything out of this segment. Or you may put them on hold for the future. Okay, I'm going to continue to, I'm going to have this outsourcer write some content, write me 50 emails that I can send one email a week out to that particular segment, just to hold them for a year, because I'll be able to get around to them in a year, but I want to hold them so that they're there ready to buy later on. I'm not ready right now, but I want it to be there. I want them to be there when I am ready. And realize also, sometimes emails that you write and content that you write can be switched to a different segment simply by changing a sentence or two within it. Simply by saying, hey, as a person who's interested in meditation for health purposes, you know that this blank, 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 blank. And then it's, as a person who's interested in meditation for stress relief, you know that blank, blank, blank. Okay. So it's sometimes quite easy to take an existing piece of content and make it work for different segments. Now, realize the better you get at segmentation, the more you're going to make. That's the way this world works. When you understand, talk to, and serve a segment, you can literally create markets and offers that could never have worked otherwise. Go back to pre-internet if you're old enough to remember the world before an internet. You go to the store, and the only things that were there were things that were interesting to everyone. Now I can go to Amazon and I can buy something for this subsegment and that subsegment and that subsegment. And when I start searching for it, I start seeing things that are related to it. And it's very, very easy now to subsegment. So it's called the long tail effect. But the important thing is this: there are literally worlds that are making hundreds of millions of dollars today that are a subsegment that did not exist 20 years ago. Because there was a belief that there's no way that there's enough people to be able to do that, marketing through the Kmarts and the Sears of the world, both of which are basically out of business now, right? And so you start looking at that and you say, oh, some people have come in and have taken Dungeons and Dragons, for example, and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business, who have taken different small segments, smokers. And I don't mean like cigar smokers. I'm talking about smokers, the things you smoke meat in. Who would have thought 20 years ago that would turn into the size of a market that it is today, with products going for $500,000, $2,000, making smokers to smoke meat? Well, that's what it happens when we segment and we start to really focus on the needs of the segment. We can literally build markets and offers that could never have been done before. Think about it. How could you better develop your market by better segmenting, and how are you going to do it? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.